Elijah in the first lesson is one of the great prophets. And it says that he goes into the wilderness, sits down under a solitary broom tree, whatever a broom tree is. It's a shrub. That's all it is. And he prays to God. And he says, Lord, I am no better than anybody else. I've had enough. Elijah was tired. He was spent. He said, Lord, I've had enough. I'm done. Ever feel like that? In the wilderness called your life? Or once in a while you may not sit under a broom tree, but you might sit at your kitchen table with a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and you just look up and say, Lord, I'm done. I just cannot do it anymore. And you don't have to be old to feel that way. You can be a little kid going to school, trying to find a friend to have lunch with. And you can't. And you say in your old kid-like way, I've had enough, Lord, I can't do this. Maybe you're an athlete. You go to a big school like Sandburg, you go to practice every single day, the coach doesn't notice you never play an ounce of time, and you say, I've had enough, I'm not going to do this. You're in the orchestra or the band, the famous marching band. You practice every day. You never make it to the field. You say, I've had enough. Maybe you're a parent working 2 jobs, trying to pay your bills to raise your kids. And at the end of the day, you come home so tired, you just say, Lord, I've had enough. I can't do it anymore. Maybe you're a 26-year-old young lady, and for the last 7 or 8 years, you've battled an addiction that just will never let you go. And you finally say, Lord, I've had enough. I'm done. I can't do it. Sometimes ordinary people like you and like me doing ordinary things on ordinary days, we have those times when we get to the end of the day and we just don't want to do it anymore. You know, maybe you hear the words of Jesus. You say, Jesus says, I'm the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry. Whoever comes to me will never be thirsty. And you say, Lord, I'm hungry. I am thirsty. You come here on a Sunday morning or a Thursday night, and why are we here? Why do we sing Kyrie and have some drums and tell these stories and sing songs and listen to me? What's the point? Somehow, some way, the church and religion, being a friend, being a parent or a grandparent, it's all about planting seeds. And whether we like it or not, we plant seeds every day. Hopefully, mostly good seeds. But that's our calling, is to plant seeds that people can see and that can help us grow. Do you ever wake up early in the morning and you turn on the TV and you got one of these weird preachers preaching at you? I got up a little early this morning, and me and Harley are in the kitchen. I'm making coffee, and there's a preacher on TV, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was in his nice suit and looked like a full auditorium, and on the front of the TV was the phone number, you know, where you could call and make donations. And this is what he said. He said, I want you today, because I've been talking to the Lord, I want you today to take $1,000, and put it on your credit card. Send it here. And that's planting seeds, because that $1,000 will grow and touch all kinds of people. And if you can't afford $1,000, how about 500? Put 500 in there. Put the other 500 in later. That seeds will grow. I talked to the Lord this morning. He told me to tell you this. Do it now. And I'm thinking to myself, who believes this stuff? A whole new idea for fundraising this fall. I can't wait to start it. But it got me thinking about the real seeds. Seeds of goodness and seeds of kindness. Seeds of humility and generosity. These little molos come up here on Sunday morning. The wrinkled dollar bills in the love bucket. A kind word to one of your co-workers on a Tuesday or Wednesday. That extra dose of patience you show your kids when they make a mistake and need a second chance. Planting seeds of goodness and kindness. That's what life is all about. I'm thinking of 3 people, young adults now, who grew up here. And like all of us, these 3 young people have paths. And they have dreams like you and me. And their journeys have taken them all over the place. We already talked about Heather. Don't mean to talk about her. I didn't know she was going to be here today. I mean, Heather always has been creative and daring, not afraid to live on the edge. I mean, she and her husband are dreamers. You got to be a dreamer to save your money to go to Nicaragua to build a school for at-risk kids. You got to be nuts to do something like that. And then when the violence in Nicaragua forces them to close their school, and to think that her mom and her grandparents were charter members of this church, and some 55 years ago they planted seeds of goodness and grace in a piece of property that had nothing on it, not knowing that 55 years later their own granddaughter would need those seeds of grace to keep on going. And those seeds of grace is exactly what life is all about. But somehow it led Heather back here after all these years. Then there's Sean. I remember when Sean's mom and dad used to work the garage sale back in the old days. And then his mom got MS, and so she slowed down. And the last 4 years, she spent every minute of every day in bed. And her Vietnam veteran husband and his father would take care of her. And then after just 3 or 4 weeks, cancer claims the life of his dad. And here's Sean, 33 years old, and his new wife, and they live in the north side of Chicago. And he has to come back home to bury his dad and somehow make arrangements to take care of his mom. But somehow, some way, all those seeds that were planted when he was a kid here led him back here. And somehow those seeds grow and gives him hope to face whatever the future is going to bring. And then there's Kristen. You know, the joy and the spark, the unleashed challenge, the childlike adventure that captured her spirit for so many years. And then the struggle with the disease that claims the lives of so many young people today. And the incredible, unconditional love of her parents, who time after time after time after time invited her back to give her a chance. And now maybe she's under a broom tree in heaven, where somehow, some way, she said, I've had enough, and she's with the Lord. And her parents and her brother and her family, they need those seeds of comfort too, the seeds that we plant every day when we get here, telling them it'll never be the same, but it will be okay, because you had her. Not long enough, but you had her. And now you have each other, and you have us, and the church, and the seeds that were planted. I got a call this week from a lady named Laura from Pennsylvania. And she said, I'm gonna be in town, and I have a 5-pound dog. Can me and my dog come to church? And I said, only if he comes up for the children's sermon. Well, anyway, she said, my name is Laura, and by the way, my dad passed away, and he's the guy that built your church. His dad is Ken Anderson. I remember him, that building project back in 1985 and 1986. I remember when we hired him and signed the contract, man, that guy was stubborn and opinionated. And I remember, we've kept in touch a little bit over the years. He's been to church a few times. And I remember the meetings and the decisions. If you ever want to kill a church and beat up a minister, have a building project, you know? We would argue over colors and design and everything else. But I realize his seeds are here. He planted seeds years ago along with some of you. And now we have this place. And I look at our building now, and I realize that there's only one color that matters anymore. It's the color of love and the color of goodness, the color of openness and grace. So today I think of Heather and Sean and Kristen. I think of you. I think of me. And I have no idea what a broom tree looks like. But thanks to you, I know what love looks like. And that's what really matters. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.